Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing well because today we're going to talk about some music, but we also have a special guest, Andy from Andy Rambles. How's it going?
Very well, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. Today we're making a greatest hits.
Yeah, we're doing what we hope will do be a new series, and it's basically bands that they never got the greatest hits from the record label, and now we're gonna make our own greatest hits for them, essentially.
Exactly. So we met prior. We kind of went through a list of different bands that don't have a greatest hits, and Cake was one of them, which is kind of surprising. Not that they have a massive discography, but it feels like maybe they're done as a band. I don't know what
Yeah,
your feeling is, but their last
feels like
full,
it in a way. Yeah.
yeah, the last full length was 2011. They put out a single in 2018, but there hasn't really been anything since then. Um,
Yeah, they
and
feel really dormant.
yeah, just
I don't
doing some,
know.
yeah, I mean, they play now and then. They'll tour, they come by here every now and then.
You got the
Uh,
odd single every 5 years or so.
yeah, but they're a really unique band. They formed in 91, and there isn't really anything that sounds like them. I don't know how you would even describe them. It's alt rock, it's kind of funky.
Yep, funky
How would
bass
you put it?
lines, lots of horns. Yeah, what always stuck out to me is they just carved out their own aesthetic, and for some reason, for about 10 years, it worked on modern rock radio because they had their own aesthetic. They had these funky bass lines. They had, the horn section. Some of the songs have like a mariachi appeal, and they just stuck out. And 5 years later, we heard a few imitators, but nothing ever really caught on. So I just think that a band like that, like they were destined for greatness because of their unique sense, I guess. But I just find them really slick and funky, and yeah, that's probably why they stuck out.
Yeah, they're the kind of band that's really fun to listen to. They're really fun to like. Uh,
Fun, catchy, yeah,
yeah, it's as good. And so I was looking up why don't they have a greatest hits? Apparently, there's been a few attempts and they've been on a few labels. So their first label was Capricorn, which dissolved midway through their career. So their first three albums are on Capricorn. Then they were on Capitol or Columbia
Columbia
for
Records,
two
yes,
albums. And then I guess Columbia wanted to pressure them to put out a greatest hits. So they Capricorn wanting to make some sort of compilation out of the first three albums was a
yeah.
no-go. Columbia, I don't know if Columbia would have had the rights to those albums as well, but that was a no-go. And then their last album in 2011 was on their own indie label called Upbeat.
That's right, yes. Which is
So
why I didn't get that much promotion. Or we'll get to
yeah,
that. There might be other
we'll get there.
reasons
We'll
too.
get there. But yeah, so my guess would be that's why we have no Cake greatest hits is because not there's not one body that owns these songs. Uh, Maybe we could have a Cakes version, something in the future like that.
Oh no,
Yeah,
don't
Cakes
give them
version.
ideas.
Yeah, but we'll see. So why don't
John's
you start?
version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John's version. Why don't you take it away? Give me your first handful of tracks for the greatest hits.
Sure. Well, I'll kind of group them together, but looking through the Cake discography and the singles, it's very kind of actually you said it yourself is they have the debutiest debut ever. So really like they already had their style kind of in effect, but they just hadn't like honed it in. So they had a hit with Rock and Roll Lifestyle, which made it up to 31 on the US alt charts. So I think that's probably not anywhere near my favorite, but I think we should include that. So I have that as number one. It's a pretty good way to start the set. And then number two is going to be a personal favorite of mine, Jolene, which was a single but didn't chart. And I think that is probably the highlight of the first record, so it should probably be on here. And then there was another single in 95 called Ruby Says All, but we'll leave that one out. So track one will be Rock and Roll Lifestyle, and track two will be Jolene. And you want me to say track three?
Sure, go ahead. Let's go to track
Track
three.
three is the distance, so it's a turning point for them. It's probably they're one of their most well knowns. If
Yeah.
you're a little older than I am, it's probably the best known for a lot of people. So that one's double platinum. I mean, you can't have a Cake greatest hits without it. And really, I saw them live once, and the whole concert, someone was yelling out, "Play the distance," and it's like, yeah, they're saving it for last, buddy. Like, don't worry about it. So yeah, that's 2 times platinum, made it up to number 4. So that would be track 3, because that's when things really started to turn for them, and really they were a very viable force for like 5 years on alt rock radio after that. Just hits after hits. You'd hear them every couple hours. So yeah, that's basically the top 3, track 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for me, I actually have very similar. I also start with Rock and Roll Lifestyle.
yeah.
And then my track 3 is The Distance. The only thing I have is I actually went with Ruby Sees All instead of Jolene. I like that one more. However,
Okay, fair. Yeah.
yeah, I think if you're doing a greatest hits, I would probably go with Jolene. But it's like, so if you're structuring it that way, go with Jolene. If
Yeah.
we're having our dream greatest hits, I'd go with Ruby Sees It All. But otherwise, I mean, yeah, their debut, it's not a bad album, and I know we're not doing full ranking or whatever discography looks, but it's very loose. Like it doesn't it you see where they want to get to, and it's the kind of thing that's like, I can give you an A for effort, but
Yeah, but
we'll
not
get
an A
better.
for the material. Yeah,
Yeah,
the style, like I said, the style is established, but they weren't quite there. They need to, get a little better production. The songwriting got better tenfold for the next couple records.
yeah,
And I thought that I really liked it. I thought it was one of my favorites. So it was really interesting to come back, and I didn't like it as much as the 4 that followed it. But
Mhm.
yeah, anyway, um so your 1 and 3 are the same as mine. So for
Yeah,
number 4, I had to go for the "I Will Survive" cover.
yeah,
Um,
same here.
that
Yeah,
video with him as a meter maid or whatever was played all the time
yeah,
on Much Music.
yeah,
I probably, being kind of an alt kid in the '90s, probably knew that before the Gloria Gaynor, the song it was covering, rather. And then Frank Sinatra is going to be in my number 5. That's the opening song to Fashion Nugget, and I mean, lyrical wise, it's probably all you need from Cake. It sounds fun, and then there's actually a lot of commentary there. Um, and then number 6 is going to be Never There, which is like the inescapable song from 1999. I remember hearing that all the time on our local rock radio station. And that one's gold. It made it up to number 1. I Will Survive also went gold. So they had some certifications going on until about, the Napster era. Yeah, so that's track 4, 5, and 6, I Will Survive. And Frank Sinatra, Never There.
yeah. I mean, very much same thing. So I also have I Will Survive. And then I put Frank Sinatra, and then in parentheses, but I like Nugget more. Again,
Nugget.
I like the
Nugget
track
is a
more.
lot of fun.
Yeah, I like that track more, but I'm like, well, it's probably Frank Sinatra, but like if we're again doing the dream thing. And yeah, and then that closes out Fashion Nugget. And then when we get into Prolonging the Magic, I also start with Never There. And then from there, I've got 2 more for Prolonging the Magic I'll do. So Never There, and then Let
Sure.
Me Go and Sheep Go to Heaven to round out the tracks from that album. How about you?
Yeah. You just want them to have a parental advisory on there with Nugget. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, that's a fun track. That would be on my personal list, which we'll get there. Yeah, so I'm right there with you. We're up to track 7 on mine now. So Let
Yeah.
Me Go, of course, which is a really great song. I mean, I almost forgot about it. And that charted as well. It made it up to 28. Number 8 would be Sheep Go to Heaven, which, I mean, that's an incredible track. So Prolonging the Magic, I mean, I'd actually like to put even more Prolonging the Magic in here, but 3 tracks is probably good. If it was like their official greatest hits, that would make sense. And then yeah, I'll get on to number 9, Sheep no, not Sheep Go to Heaven, Short Skirt Long Jacket. Just the most probably now the most well-known of their songs. Chalk it up to the music video and just the timing of it all. And I mean, it seems like even when you're breaking out the karaoke, lodge between your Britney Spears and your Don't Stop Believin', someone's going to sing Short Skirt Long Jacket. Like, it's just very prevalent now. And yeah, the music video was all over the place back in the day. There were even multiple versions of them, but I was on their official channel and it was pretty sparse. They didn't have the alternate videos. And of course, being a Canadian, I was thinking, well, where's the Toronto one? They had a Toronto one and they had a Miami one, which is the popular one. And but I mean, fun track, fun video, great bass line. I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah.
It might not be my favorite Cake song ever, but if anyone's like, I really want to get into Cake, it's like probably give them that track to start with because they'll be
Yeah.
hooked. So yeah,
Yeah, totally. I mean, I totally agree with you on all that. The video, I definitely remember watching the Toronto version on Much Music.
so much
Uh,
fun.
I think it had like I definitely remember Ed the Sock being on that.
He'd
I
have
think
to be, right? Yeah,
I think maybe some
incredible.
other bands were on that, like some Canadian alt bands were in that video as well. I seem to
I can
remember.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't remember who, but it was kind
yeah,
of that era where all the Canadian punk and alt rock bands were always in each other's videos and that. So
yeah,
it's like, well, let's get in on Cake's video.
yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty
It's
sure
not going to
too.
get airplay on MTV, so let's just
No,
do it for Much Music.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure too that Short Skirt Long Jacket was my first Cake song, pretty sure. Maybe I'd heard them before, but that was to me is at least the most memorable one that I remember.
Yeah, everyone remembers the first time they heard that one. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Cool. Do you have any others from the album Comfort Eagle?
Yeah, we might as well keep going with Comfort Eagle. So, I mean, I couldn't not include Love You Madly because that was actually quite a big hit as well. And really, when I was listening back, this is why it was so rewarding. I remember liking that song as a kid, but I loved that one. I would probably put that in my, top 10 Cake songs or whatever. And really, John McCree, is it? That's his name.
Yeah.
He's he goes for it. The whole cliche is that he kind of speak sings, but there's when he has to get tender, there's some actual like emotive singing there. I think he almost gets a bad rap for being a little too non-emotive, but it's an amazing song. And unless Wikipedia is wrong, it says that one didn't chart. I was going to say earlier that their certifications ran out with Short Skirt Long Jacket, of course, that made the platinum, made it to number 7, and that was pretty much it. But, that's the end of the alt kind of era, I guess you could say. But yeah, I had to put Love You Madly on, and then, yeah, it shifts from there. I only had 2 Comfort Eagle, but
Mm.
it's a good record, though, but I don't remember a lot of hits, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I also do Loving Madly. I also put on Shadow Stabbing. I really like that as a track.
A good
Obviously,
tune, yeah.
yeah, it wasn't a big hit, but I like that one a lot. So I put that in. And now we're
Good
getting
choice.
into maybe the downfall of the band. Not the downfall, that makes it seem like jump off a cliff or something, but
Yeah, what went on with that band?
certainly,
Drugs and
certainly
alcohol.
their popularity starts to wane. They
Yeah,
do have other hits, but nothing, nothing is where do I have some of the albums here? They don't come back to this again.
no,
There's some
it's
good
not
stuff.
iconic.
Yeah, there's some good stuff with checking out, but nothing like that. What we've kind of talked about already again.
Yeah, I mean, from this point forward, you'd really have to be paying attention to actually realize that they were releasing albums anymore, or you'd have to be an avid, alternative rock radio listener. And
Yeah.
even those stations were sort of falling by the wayside. So you'd have to be a true fan. And I don't think I heard this record, this next one coming up, until I was going to check them out live, maybe like 8 years later or something. And then I'm like, okay, I remember hearing No Phone every once in a while, but that was about it. So, but yeah, before we get there, I put in at number 11, and I'm not sure if it would go here chronologically. I'm pretty sure it would. War Pigs, the cover
Yes.
song that they did for their B-side collection, which not only is it a really good cover, it also got a lot of airplay. And I couldn't really find anything about it charting, but I remember hearing it all the time. And that was probably the last year I ever listened to the radio anyway. So I just remember War Pigs being big. So I thought if I was in charge of making the greatest hits, I would put that one on. And then I put No Phone after that because that was it was a big alt hit. It wasn't a big hit at all, but
Yeah.
yeah. So War Pigs and No Phone, and then yeah, I guess we kind of ride it out. It wouldn't really end on a high note, but I'll get there. I'll let you throw out some of your picks again.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I also have War Pigs. I've got War
Oh,
Pigs.
good.
I have War Pigs closing out my greatest hits.
Oh, it's a
Um,
better closer. Yeah,
yeah,
I went a little too chronologically, I think.
yeah. Well, when I was thinking about like greatest hits albums that I've owned before, like what do I like about them? You can get some that are just, they're singles all the way through. You can get some that are almost like time capsules of a period, or you can get some that it's, most of their singles and then a couple, bonus things thrown in. So I have some bonus stuff at the end. So I've got
Good.
I've got yeah.
That's why I used to buy greatest hits. Is as dumb as it sounds to like probably the current generation, it's like you wanted to get that bonus song. You wanted to own that track that they tacked on, that was probably for a recording session and got left. And sometimes it was good and sometimes it wasn't so good. But
Yeah,
that was the marketing, is buy this at HMV because you get this bonus song. So
yeah,
you
exactly.
did it right. Yeah.
I did it right. So I've got War Pigs on there as well. I don't have No Phone
Fair.
because it's not my favorite track on the album. I did switch that out for Carbon Monoxide. Um,
Yes, that's the
I,
best song on the album. Yeah.
yeah, so I switched. I mean, if we're going greatest hits, you'd probably technically go with No Phone, but I
Yeah.
like the track Carbon Monoxide more, so I'd switch it out there.
Carbon Monoxide is actually the band having fun, whereas No
Yeah,
Phone, I'm pretty sure, is the kind of song where where they put the album in and the record label goes, "Yeah, but we need a single though," and then it's like, "Okay, fine."
yeah, exactly.
And even
Uh,
the video, which I'd never seen before, the video is a sort of repeat of the short skirt long jacket phenomenon.
yeah.
They tried to go for it again, and I don't remember it ever getting airplay.
No, no. I mean, this was. I don't think I heard any Cake after Comfort Eagle. I wasn't
Okay,
trying to check them out, but I was like, oh, fantastic, great, more Cake, and it's not bad at all. It's just it doesn't have that same energy.
true.
So that's the album Pressure Chief. So now we're finishing off their last official album. Comes out
Yep.
2011, Showroom of Compassion, which I liked a little
We're not
more.
ending with a bang.
No, I kind of liked it in some ways a bit more. At least I liked a few individual tracks more. But I
Yep.
only have two from this album. I have Sick of You and Mustache Man. Those are the two I really liked.
Yes, yes. Sick of You and Mustache Man were on mine. And then I thought of putting Long Time in there as well, but I dropped it because I realized they had another track, Sinking Ship. So that
Mhm.
was, I had no idea about this song before you and I were brainstorming for the video. And so I would put that as the last one, but that's only because um, I was doing it chronologically, but that was probably for my detriment because I'd love to have War Pigs to end it off, or end it on the distance or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so yeah, we end with Sinking Ships, which was it's decent. It's
Mhm.
decent. Yeah, it was a
So
nice surprise.
for me, I didn't put Sinking Ships. I think you should because it's a non-album track.
Yeah,
But I did. So I've got War Pigs as my closer, and then I have they put out a live album in 2014,
yep.
live from the Crystal Palace. So I took one of those tracks. So I did Mexico live because that's a track I really
Ooh,
like, but
yeah,
didn't.
one of the Prolonging the Magic highlights.
Yeah, but didn't include in the greatest hits proper. Like I kind of took that
Right.
out for something else. I was like, okay, well, we'll put the live version and then War Pigs. Um, and I think for me that's 17 tracks. I don't know. So if we have our greatest hits because of streaming, we don't necessarily
Yeah.
need to care about length or anything. But my
80
greatest,
minutes. Yeah, you
yeah,
could do whatever, 100 minutes.
yeah. So but we're putting this out. I've got 17 tracks on my greatest hits. I feel like that's a pretty good length.
I got 15, but
Yeah.
at least by my count. But I would totally, I love your idea of putting a live song on there. I don't really like when they're interspersed into the track list because
No.
I find that a little daunting. But when they're on
Yeah.
the end, that's fine. You just fade into the crowd noise and it's all good. And like you said, it's nice to have a little bonus on the end. Like it's nice to have War Pigs, like your B side, and that had a live one too. But I would do the studio, so you got your B side and then you got a live one. So yeah, and obviously it doesn't matter anymore, but that's how you got people to go spend, you know, $14.99 all over again at A&B Sound. So
Yeah,
I got to get everything by this band. So
exactly.
yeah,
And that's kind of the exercise, right? Like you and I, we went through the entire discography. So that's 6 albums, plus B-sides and singles and blah, blah, blah. And some of it's great, some of it not as great. But when I look at the track listing here, like I'd be really happy to own like this collection. I don't feel like, even some of these songs, they might not be quite as great. Sick of You isn't quite as great as some of the others, but
true. Yeah.
maybe the song I like the least on here is Frank Sinatra or Sick of You. Like those are both great songs, you
Yeah.
know. So I think, a best of from Cake would that'd be a good album to have, I think.
I would be out there buying either your version or my version.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would for mine, I mean Mustache Man was kind of I thought I gotta take 2 tracks from this album, but did I really want that one there? Maybe not. It's still a good song, but you know, for me it doesn't come close to Jolene or The Distance or Never There. Even Frank Sinatra's one of my favorites. I was not expecting that. Yeah, and just quickly, like that was going very literal. But if I was to do a greatest hits, and I won't explain all these songs, but I would do Jolene, The Distance, I Will Survive, Nugget. So I'm really glad you
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Satan is My Motor, so much fun. You Turn the Screws, Sheep Go to Heaven, Never There, Short Skirt Long Jacket, Love You Madly, World of Two, Wheels, Carbon Monoxide, funnest track from that era, Guitar Man, Waiting, War Pigs, and Together Than It Is. So I would have 17. So that's Andy's best of, and then we have the literal greatest hits.
Yeah.
And between the two, like there I have 2 great playlists to play off of. And I mean it's so much fun. Like, you know, Cake are so much fun, even if they're doing commentary.
Yeah.
Did you have like an alt track listing that you wanted to throw out there, or is that
Uh,
your set in stone?
that was pretty much it. I had a couple others. I had If Space. Of course there's space. It's my listing, but
If
whatever.
space, yeah,
If
they're
Space.
Cake.
Sheep Go to Heaven live, from that live album.
Nice. Yeah.
And then where did it go? Let me scroll. Did I put Let Me Go? I think I said Let Me Go.
Let me
If
go.
I did, Let
Can't
Me
get
Go.
better than that.
Yeah, if I didn't say Let Me Go, then Let Me Go. But I feel like I did. But in other case, that's my listing. I kind of like all along the way added in the tracks that I'd like to see. Um,
Yeah. It's a nice mix anyway
exactly. But
of the two.
that's it for Cake. We made a greatest hits for Cake.
There you
Uh,
go. It's that easy.
yeah. Any closing words or videos you're working on? Anything to promote?
Yeah, I got a lot of album review videos. Obviously I wanted to do a Cake video for, you know, ranking the albums because this video has been so much fun. And you know, it really made me kind of reappraise their whole discography. And I mean, I would recommend, if you think you know Cake, you probably should do the run through, because yeah, there's a lot of gems in there, a lot of nuggets as it were. And yeah, it's just they're really fun, and the last record's not quite as good, but I would really recommend it. So yeah, I've just had a lot of Cake on the brain, and so yeah, I'll probably get that ranking video up pretty soon. And yeah, beyond that, I mean, what do you have going on?
I mean, same. I was thinking of doing one of those cozy fall album videos. I've seen a lot of people sharing like 5 albums for the fall, so pulling out some of the stuff I listen to around this time of year.
Something to listen to with pumpkin latte or something?
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. And getting into Christmas albums as well. I know you've
Yes,
been
already.
chatting.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So hit up the thrift stores to find your perfect Christmas albums.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, thanks so much for joining me. And I know I'll
Thanks
see
for
you,
having me.
yeah, see you again in the future. Um, yeah, thanks so much. And I hope
Take care.
everyone enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.